Hello, I am Joy Banerjee, a retail professional. First of all, I like to give a brief introduction about myself. I am in retail segment for over 12 years. During these years, I have tried almost all the formats of retailing and I have independently handled quite a few projects. So, handling the project in my case means planning the project from planning to initiation, initiation to rollout, and from rollout to achieving operating break-even. Now, from my experience, what I see, the earlier the competition was not so intense as it is right now. We used to get first movers advantage at various places, and not many of the retailers were there. But now the scenario is completely different because the retail space is crowded with many retailers, and if we look at the tier 3 or tier 4 cities and towns also, there are also a lot of malls, hypermarkets, supermarkets, and small departmental stores. So now the competition is quite intense, and to win over the competition, a retailer needs some specific strategies. So the things cannot be managed the way it was used to manage. It was used to be managed before. So definitely a retailer has to take some differential strategies which will actually help him to sustain in the competitive environment. I always use different operational strategies for the retailers, but what I feel that now we need to take some more accurate strategies, or our strategies should not only be based on gut feeling, or should not be based only on historical trend. So we need to look at the scenario from a different point of view. So that's why I have preferred to go for the Six Sigma certification course. Because and one more thing I like to tell, that in India retail is largely unorganized, and only a little above 5% are organized retailers. So amongst the organized retailers also, we do not get highly qualified professionals as they are available in other industries, in other segments. Whether the retail is organized or unorganized, almost all the retailers face some regular problems in all the spheres of operations. In warehouse, for example, barcoding is being done, but the accuracy, nobody is measuring the accuracy, and due to inaccurate barcoding, we see complete wrong picture of the inventory. In warehouse, the barcodes are pasted on products by laborers, and that is not properly defined. So what happens, that barcoding errors happens very frequently, where barcode of a different product gets pasted on another product, and it ultimately leads to inventory inaccuracy. Not only that, when for example, from warehouse, when we dispatch the goods to different stores, what happens, that those barcoded goods are scanned again, and somebody is scanning and somebody else is packing those products. So there is a high possibility that goods scanned in the system and goods actually packaged in the carton are different. So there is a mismatch of inventory in the sender's location and the receiver's location. At the same time, sometimes what happens, that if we follow a particular route, and if in that particular route 3 stores are there, sometimes we dispatch goods of all the 3 stores in a particular vehicle, but sometimes the unloading of goods happens at a wrong place, whereas it was supposed to be delivered at some other place. It again leads to inventory inaccuracy. If we look at the sales part, there also we see that cashiers who are scanning the materials at a very high speed when there is high traffic on a particular store, what happens, they blindly scan the products, and due to this wrong barcoding, sometimes this kind of things happen, which I have experienced from my personal experience, that the cashier is scanning jeans, and by mistake the barcodes of t-shirts are pasted on jeans. So cashier is actually scanning jeans, but the scanned item in the system becomes t-shirt. So customer is getting jeans at the cost of a t-shirt. So this involves financial loss and at the same time inventory inaccuracy. Sometimes it happens that since so many merchandise is there in a store, so certain barcodes get lost. So for those non-barcoded items, cashier or the store manager sometimes use gut feeling. Like sometimes they scan the barcode of a similar kind of product, but this is not proper actually. If we look at the schemes and promotions, there are different types of promotions. For example, buy one get one and get X% off. Now we can whether which scheme is actually working well, that buy X get Y or buy X get X% off. So here there is a scope. It is required in manpower planning also. Generally what happens that I have seen that so far as human resources are concerned, in certain cases human resources are underutilized, and in certain cases resources are overutilized. Now for running a particular store of a particular size, what kind of manpower actually require, and that can be measured through some Six Sigma techniques. If we look at the procurement, now procuring the things, because there are many suppliers. For example, a fully grown retailer works with more than 1,000 suppliers. It is not that the goods supplied by all the suppliers are selling well. So which should be the preferred suppliers, that needs to be known. In that case, Six Sigma techniques can help us, and also this deciding on the product mix and the price mix, which is actually best for a particular retailer. That is again not a easy decision actually. There are various areas. I see a lot of scope where Six Sigma can be implemented, and this is the need of the hour, because if the retailers do not follow some do not take some differential approaches, definitely there will be a saturation in the entire retail segment, which is not desirable. So if a retailer do not take proper measures, then he just cannot survive in the competitive environment. Now so far as benchmark Six Sigma is concerned, I have taken a conscious decision to choose benchmark Six Sigma. What I understand that benchmark Six Sigma people, this benchmark Six Sigma is not a typical training institute which gives training. They are basically into consulting and gives training also. So what happens when people who are into corporate consulting, when they give training, all the Six Sigma materials what we are going through here are all the examples are being given by the trainers and the instructors relate to the real life business cases, and we also as professionals can relate ourselves to those real life examples, and we can understand the concept. So far as the techniques of making the people understand, because we professionals do not get that much time to regularly brush up our knowledge. So the course material has been designed in such a way and has been explained in such a way that we do not find much difficulty in understanding the concept. And also I think I also am feeling confident of implementing those techniques. Personally, I also encourage professionals who are doing their Six Sigma courses to join retail segment, so that they can implement the best practices in the retail environment. Thank you.